Courage has often looked ordinary from the outside. A lot of us aren't quite aware of our strengths because we are focused so much on the internal negative critic. I've been brave and courageous my whole entire life without realising it.
Yeah, that's right,
and now I can label it. Feeling I was losing it and trying to figure out whether it was me literally going crazy, like losing my mind, was it getting early onset dementia, like the memory stuff, and that was just really starting to flip with me. So a lot of people may be like, oh, maybe we're all a little bit ADHD, I forget stuff. Please do not say that. Do not generalise it. Do not diminish or minimise somebody's experience. That I am who I needed, but didn't exist. Wow. So you're not broken because you see and experience the world differently. Is that my children have taught me that people need to be seen for who they are, not who we expect them to be.
That's right.
And I'll never forget when we were speaking and she'd said to me, oh, like the love that you have for your grandchildren is just like on a whole other level. And you can't really describe it. Like, I get it. And that you don't have to be perfect to be deeply loved.
That is so true.
You do not need to become someone else to be worthy. You already are.
Welcome to Talk with the Courageous Heart. I'm glad you are here today. Let's take a moment to breathe, settle in, and begin today's conversation.
Kia ora whanau, welcome to another brand new episode of Talk with a Courageous Heart. As I promised you last time, I have another courageous heart today. Before I get this person in, I want to quickly do a small introduction. And how do I know this person? Well, it's a very interesting story because I used to work with this person's mother-in-law, and her mother-in-law is amazing. And when I asked her mother-in-law to be on my podcast, she was like, "Oh, I'm not really good at these things, but you know who's really good at this?" And she referred me to this person who's about to come in, and my colleague used to be my ex-colleague, talked very highly of her. And this person works with she is a ADHD coach, and she make a real huge impact on people with ADHD, helping them how to navigate day-to-day life. And just want to say that I don't know much about this person, but as you are, I'm really interested to get to know about this person as we go through this journey. So without further ado, I would like to invite Bex O'Malley. Come on in, please.
Thank you. I feel like I need some clapping or something, guys.
I know. I'm like, And Bex, first of all, thank you so much for making the time and
You're welcome.
Being here today. I can't be more grateful. And just want to dive into the first thing that I don't. Many people might know you. Many people might not know you. So if I ask you, who are you? How would you describe yourself?
It's a really interesting question because I have actually been doing a bit of recent reflecting and work on this, and like the actual true answer to who I am is still being figured out, to be honest. And that takes courage, right? Which is a great theme for today. But look, and all kind of jokes aside, so Bex O'Malley, I'm a 42-year-old, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, granddaughter, I have two beautiful sons, and one of my sons has graced me already with two beautiful little granddaughters. I'm the energy in the room, would be probably a nice description of who I am.
Can I just say that when you just enter to this room, or even when I met you, I could feel the energy, that you got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
And really nice though, it's really nice. And I just want to say that I noticed that. Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and
it's something I take for granted, funnily enough.
But like, yeah, thank you for that beautiful explanation. And diving to our first question, which is, we talk about courage in this podcast, and I just, I ask this question from almost every guest, and they have their own definition. So I'm asking, what is your own definition of courage? And can you please take me back to a moment where you had to be courageous?
I'm just referencing, so I'm just, as an ADHDer,
Yeah.
I'm referencing my notes here as a little placeholder.
Yeah.
So this is me doing ADHD on purpose and a live example of what I work with my amazing clients to be comfortable doing as well, because this is supporting my working memory.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, I love that you said it's different for everybody, because I'm a really big believer in that. But so courage, or being courageous, to me is living authentically. And what I mean by that is being my most authentic self and living my best life, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess it's, so I've made a note here of courage doesn't equal, it equals, not being fearless. It's around moving toward, like for me, it's around moving towards something important, even when it feels scary.
That's right.
There's, like, we are fueled by quite a lot of fear. That can either motivate you or hold you back.
That's right.
Yeah, and so for me, courage has often looked ordinary from the outside. And so, saying I need help is courage for me.
That's right.
Admitting something isn't working
is courage.
Takes courage for me. One of the bigger ones is actually questioning the story I had about myself. That's taken and still taking a lot of courage.
Yeah.
And then the other one is quite a big one, actually, is choosing self-acceptance over self-criticism. And so, like a lot of us are familiar with this narrator that we have in our head.
That's right, yes.
And a lot of us kind of think, oh, I didn't really invite that person in, did I? But they're there. Even if, you're listening to this or what have you, and you're like, well, I don't. That's your narrator.
That's right.
That thought you just had is a narrator.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. Yes. It's just that some of us have quite, or have had quite unhealthy inner critics throughout our life for various different reasons. And so for me, choosing self-acceptance is accepting myself wholly for who I am, and not the, not the voice that over the years has probably ruled the roost a little bit more than I'd like.
And thank you for that beautiful, being honest and being brave enough to share that. And can you please take me back to a moment where you had to be courageous?
I actually made some notes because I just actually support me as far as like the emotion and stuff as well for this part specifically. But it would be, there are many, right? But the one that I've picked out for this is my late in life adult diagnoses with ADHD. So that was coming up 7 years ago for me. So not that long ago in the scheme of things. I mean, like I said, I'm 42, so 7 years ago is a 35-year-old adult who's lived, 3 decades of life so far.
That's right.
And then rebuilding my identity after that. Like even just as I talk about that now, this is an live example of courage and being courageous. And really needing to lean into that. The interesting thing for me, I guess, is that throughout my journey I've learnt there are, obviously we all have different values and strengths. A lot of us aren't quite aware of our strengths because we are focused so much on the internal negative critic, and so we forget what they are. But one of them for me really sits in that courage space, and that is bravery. And I've been brave and courageous my whole entire life without realising it.
Yeah, that's right,
and now I can label it. So for me, what was at stake, I guess, in that was my sense of self.
Yeah.
The beliefs that I'd carried for years, how I would choose to live, beyond that, or from that point forward.
Yeah.
As you could probably hear just in those few things, like for a lot of people, that could kind of prevent them from going down the journey of diagnosis, right? And this is often, what a lot of people sit on the fence about and consider, I've got to this point, like, why do I need to, and all the rest of it. And that's a very personal thing.
Yeah.
But what I learnt through that is that I'm not weak.
Yeah.
I'm not broken.
No, obviously not. No.
And I'm more resilient than I'd ever realised.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have had all of that learning and ability to, I guess, re-author my story if I hadn't have been really courageous.
That's right.
And recognised and made the decision that actually I need to do something about this. As uncomfortable as it may be or feel.
Yeah. And that is so true, because not many people have the courage to, when you're like, let's say in your 30s, as you mentioned earlier, many people would say, I've been already 35 years been living like that, and why do I need to go down that path?
Yeah.
And that is amazing that you took that step, saying, okay, no, I need to accept for who I am, and then I can work towards building something profound for me. But like, as you mentioned, you diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. Can you take us back to the period of your life and what that discovery meant for you?
It's a big sigh.
Yep.
A lot. Like I've got things here, but I just everything. It meant everything.
Yeah.
7 years on, I am still learning more about myself than I ever thought possible.
Yeah. And let me quickly ask you a small question. And like as we talked about earlier, many people choose not to go down that path. But for you, what made you...
What was happening?
Yeah.
That's a really good question, because it was buck wild.
Wow.
Shit, mate.
Can't wait to hear that. Can't wait to hear that.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, let's go.
Buckle up, everyone.
Let's do that.
Oh, yeah. So, 35, or even just before that, like 33. So my youngest son, beautiful, beautiful soul, he really kicked the journey off for me. He was around just before turning 8. He was diagnosed first off, so he was first in our family unit to really show the true telltale signs that the medical model is based off to deem somebody with severe enough symptoms to have the thing. And off the back of that, I started questioning. I was just like, we're really alike, him and I.
Okay.
It just all these, I just sat at so many aha moments. Some of the biggest ones were that we were the two in the house that would like just clash the biggest.
Oh, I see.
And, there's different sayings out there, like often you see in somebody something that you don't like, that is actually what is you, it's you, right? Like, it's actually what you know or see in yourself when you don't want it to be true and all of that. And it's like, oh my God, case in point. But I guess, for me, off the back of that, I then also at the same time was really struggling. So I have always, like before diagnosis, super capable, like highly capable, really high achieving, but super exhausted. I was always wondering why things felt extremely hard for me compared to, say, what everybody else seemed to be making it, kind of appear. Feeling I was losing it and trying to figure out whether it was me literally going crazy, like losing my mind, was it getting early onset dementia, like the memory stuff, and that was just really starting to flip with me. The moods were really up and down, like roller coaster. There was heaps of self-blame because I just didn't know what was going on, and I was seeking support through different counselling services to try and determine, like, actually, is it my work? Is it what I'm trying to do in my job, or am I actually losing my mind? I really just felt all over the place, lost. It was really difficult. And because it's internal and in a sense hidden, hence it's kind of under the bracket of hidden disability, you feel really alone. Because it's not like, if somebody's in a wheelchair, people kind of think, oh, open the door for them, or, there's a lot more care because you can see something and the person potentially needs some support. Whereas, when you're wired differently and you see and experience the world differently, what I didn't know then was, that actually I was trying to fit into systems and ways of working that weren't built for me. So when I look back now, it's just like, oh gosh, no wonder.
But that makes sense.
It makes sense now.
But is that the place where you realize, oh, I think I need to go down?
So that was, absolutely. And so I guess that then took me on to seeing my GP. So I'd been, kind of tapping into different services through my employer's EAP. Highly recommend, had some not so great experiences because they just weren't right for me at the time, or they weren't what I was needing at the time, right? But then I've had some amazing experiences and they've, been brilliant to support me through different things. But that, wasn't cutting it anymore, and so then I said to my hubby, I was like, right, I'm gonna have to go to my GP. Something's going on. Potentially it's this. And what we'd, just been learning through my son's diagnosis journey was like, okay, actually this could be the thing. So I went and saw my GP, had the most amazing GP at the time, and she referred. But being thorough and amazing, she referred me on to someone, and also just, wanted them to do like a full scope because of the mood variables and everything, wanted to consider, was there any mood disorder and all that kind of thing. And I guess kind of that was quite validating in itself, that my GP heard me and thought like, okay, like, something's, I had my husband with me.
Okay.
What I now know about myself that I didn't then is that I now have supports to, that I can check every now and then, make sure I'm like remembering what I wanted to say. But there's this experience that I have where somebody asks me something or I feel put on the spot, like that's what it is. It's almost like you're put on the spot. It's like possum in headlights. It's like, and it's like I forget everything. I forget what I just, it's like I forget I've even existed. So I had my hubby with me because we knew that about me, that I would potentially minimise stuff inadvertently because I wouldn't necessarily remember. So if the GP was going to start asking me questions or what have you about like, why am I here, what's going on, I'd probably just be like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So having my husband there was amazing because, he's been my biggest supporter since we met, but having him there meant that when that happened, I was like, I'd be like, that's why he's here. Do you know what I mean? And then and then he'd step in and be like, oh, and then so there was a real shared experience, which was amazing. But it was very validating.
But if you were to put on the spot, like you would go blank. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, now I will say something along the lines of, I just need a minute to process what you've said.
Because
So this is around my processing of information. I'm a verbal processor, so I might need to repeat the thing back, or I might, I might say it but in a different way, like all this kind of stuff. And then depending on, you know, like we're very layered, you know, like we're very complex. Human beings are very complex, right? And our brain is, you know, no different. It's like your fingerprint. Like no single person's brain is identical to the next. While there's commonalities and things, hence, you know, there's diagnostic criteria for stuff, my experience could be quite different to the next person's.
Yeah, that's right.
But that is something like if I'm, depending on, you know, if I'm carrying a lot cognitively, that invisible load, you know, like if in my mind there's all this other stuff going on distracting me and then there's a question, I might be like, oh, I don't remember. And it's unexplainable sometimes, you know, like,
and I just want to be very, very honest. I just don't know much about ADHD. But I just want to quickly ask you, because I have no idea what is the hardship that you have to go through day-to-day life. Can I quickly ask you what are the few things that you guys have, like a person with ADHD have to go through day-to-day life?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll probably lean on the, you know, kind of sharing the executive functions and the, you know, kind of the reduced ability or, you know, so, okay, let me explain it this way. Your executive function is like the conductor of an orchestra, sits in your prefrontal cortex. And your executive function for an ADHD, you know, for autistics, ADHDers, which is autistic ADHDers, and you know, potentially others in the neurodivergent umbrella, have difficulty. There's a difference in the processing. And so a way I like to describe it for people is that your executive function, if you think of the conductor of like an orchestra, is that a neurotypical brain, and so this is a brain that, you know, society is deemed as being, say, the norm, like the baseline that everything's built around and what have you. The conductor exists, and they, you know, they're warming up the orchestra and things are, you know, dialing up, and the conductor's, you know, getting them to, you know, strings, trumpet, whatever, at the right time and when, etc. The ADHD experience is, you know, we are impaired by, say, 30% in that area. And it's like the orchestra being asked to warm up without the conductor.
By itself.
So we don't have a conductor. And so if you consider that, if you consider an orchestra is trying to kind of warm up and prepare for an event, it's everything. It can be everything happening all at once.
Everywhere,
it can be something happening when actually it's not meant to be them, it's meant to be them. And the executive function, to add the layer of understanding of actually what is this, is, so I use a term or a framework that Thomas E. Brown coined, and that is A-THEMA. And so the first one is activation, and so that's things like getting started, prioritising tasks. So if you think about that and that being impaired, like, you know, there can be this intense like paralysis. You know you have something you need to do, but you can't physically bring yourself to do it. So that falls into that umbrella of activation. So it's not a lack of motivation, it's not laziness, but that's what we've maybe been telling ourselves for our whole life, right? Then you've got focus. It's a little bit of a play on word, like there's no other word for it, but it's something that, you know, ADHDers potentially throughout their school careers or even at work have been told, you need to focus more. It's like, magic word, like if I could I would, or I thought I was. But focus from an executive function point of view is not just the ability to focus, but it's the ability to actually hold focus and the ability to shift focus. That can be really challenging. And so like I mentioned before, you know, like I've got things with me, like I've got my phone, so I probably didn't need my squishies. But, you know, like in a classroom setting, when I was younger, if I had squishies or, you know, I could doodle without it being a problem and being told to sit still, I would have been in the room. I would have been hearing what the teacher was trying to teach us. Because my executive function wasn't then trying to focus on not moving. So being, you know, like sit still in the classroom, as an example.
I see.
My focus then, every ounce of me is think, don't move, don't move. Because of course I don't want to be naughty.
Exactly.
But then everything's focusing on that, and so then everything
but you can't
else
focus
is out the
on
window,
the studies.
right? And so, so focus is, that's a prime example of that. And then An E, one of the E's is effort. Effort is either the perceived or real effort that we believe a task or the thing that we need to do is going to take. Now, I often kind of explain, there's a term a lot of people have heard called time blindness. Time blindness. And what it is our time perception is out. And so we may perceive something to be more effortful than actual reality because we have real difficulty with perceiving how long something might take to do. And so we may then fall back into that trap of not starting the thing or what have you. So there's a bit of a thread happening here, right? And so that then goes against us. Another one is emotion. This one can swallow you up. I talk about emotional flooding. And emotion is, there's also another kind of side of it that's not spoken about enough, and that is rejection sensitivity dysphoria. That's a very real part of our experience, and it's termed RSD. And so this, if you can imagine, you know, as a young person hearing all of these things, just a lot of rejection, right? Like you're being rejected a lot, like sit still or do this or focus. You know, just all you're hearing is you're not good enough. Good enough,
that's right, yes.
And so RSD in the emotion is a really huge lever that can tip somebody just like that. And you are consumed by it. And it can be painful, like physically. Something that you might not even bat an eyelid at could crumple me. Because we are quite deeply intuitive, emotional, sensitive, beautiful beings, but we've been, you know, kind of dulled down or dumbed down a bit by the world, right?
That's right.
And so the RSD part of that can see everything else fall out the window. Like if I came in and you asked me a question that potentially triggered some, you know, deep-seated childhood memory or something and consumed me with emotion, my memory will collapse really quickly. My short-term, like my long-term memory, phenomenal. My short-term recall memory in the moments and stuff like that, difficult. Need to, you know, cover that. But emotion on the flip side of it is also what cements and helps us remember things. So there's always little contradictions. It's quite beautiful. When you don't know this, it's really difficult. And that's where you can be like, what the fuck is wrong with me? You know, like what's going on? Like one moment it's like I can't remember anything, and then the next moment I'm feeling all this stuff and I remember it because of that. And once we start to realize that, we can start to hone in on, wow, what was it that made me feel so good? And then the experience comes and you remember it and you don't forget it.
And like, thank you for explaining that. Like I had no idea that's
There's
what
still
you
two more.
Oh, so but I'll just say anyway. But I had no idea you guys had to go through all of those things. But yeah, I'm just sorry.
Well, you don't know, right? Because, like I said too, it's hidden, and for years, you know, there was so much not known about the experience really either. You know, like yes, there's the medical model and things, but you know, a big part of the reason that, you know, from 2021 through to now and continuing, that, you know, it appears there's a higher rate of diagnoses happening is through increased awareness. Science has improved.
That's right.
You know, and everything like that. So that's changing, right? Which is great. There's so much more hope now for future generations to pick up on this stuff way earlier than in the past.
That's right.
And so, the last two, so M was memory. So I did kind of touch on that. So memory is a funny one. There's that real contradiction, like coined in that is, you know, like your ability to connect the dots, big picture thinking. And so right then I'm just like, well, isn't that what all businesses need? Like strategy, hello. But the flip side and the real difficulty is that short-term memory. And so a lot of people may be like, oh, maybe we're all a little bit ADHD, I forget stuff. Please do not say that. Do not generalize it. Do not diminish or minimize somebody's experience, because cool, you might forget stuff every now and then, but do you experience it consistently to the point that you get up from the couch, you're like, oh, I better go put the laundry on. On the way to the laundry room, you see something on the ground on the way past. Oh, pivot, do that thing,
Yeah.
forget entirely what you were going to be originally doing, come across it, and you just go on this thread of all the stuff, and then you're like, what was the thing I was actually going to do?
Wow.
And we can laugh about it because
Yeah.
it's just like, oh my gosh, it must be so funny.
Yeah, yeah.
But constantly, all the time, it really wears you down.
Wow.
But once you start to acknowledge and realise that, like I see the positives in it now, and that's a lot of the work I do with individuals, is to help them to really understand how ADHD shows up for them in their world, at home, at work, in friendship, relationships, what have you, and then start to recognise, you know, different patterns and things as to, oh, that's what that is, or, oh, and just this different ability to, I guess, actually see themselves and then start to support themselves in a better way.
Yeah.
And the last but not the least, is action, or what we frame as monitoring in action.
Yeah.
And so that really, as it sounds, is like self-regulation, your ability to regulate.
Yeah.
And so while we're sitting here, for example, you know, like my brain, like I'm talking to you quite, you know, clearly and really good flow.
That's right.
But what you can't see is that my brain is also like in the background thinking like, don't move too much, like which I know doesn't matter, but at the same time it can be distracting for people. And so
that is so true.
I'm not trying to mask or hide that, because I'm full of so much expression. You'll see my hands been going like flat stack, because that also just helps me regulate. So there's all these things like, but monitoring in action can be really difficult. Again, emotions are a really big one that can just swallow people up. Like, and there'll be a lot of people thinking like, oh gosh, that makes sense as to why when such and such happened at work, I just, you know, I was raging, I was so frustrated, and then I said this thing, and I immediately after wished I hadn't.
Wow.
That's action in action. Like, there's things that we do and we say that, you know, we just think, oh, damn it.
Yeah, that's right.
But once you start to realise that and learn that it is a part of our difficulty, a part of our experience, you can start to see it for what it is, and then start to notice it.
Yeah.
And recognise it and work with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'll say it again, I had no idea that as an ADHD person you had to go through that. But again, thank you again for
you're so
explaining
welcome.
that. Thank you.
I just really hope that, you know, the gift of what I've shared
exactly.
helps you to understand, and anybody else watching as well.
Exactly. And then thank you for explaining that.
Yeah.
But that leads me to my next question, because when you speak very clearly, and I can see how passionate about you helping other people with ADHD, and that's what you do. And my question is, what made you take this step? And like, or like one day waking up, okay, I'm gonna help other people who are going through the same journey as me. What made you take that step?
Yeah, it's really quite simple.
Yeah.
That I am who I needed, but didn't exist. Wow. So you know, like when I got my diagnosis, this is really common for a lot of people, is that you get your diagnosis, you, depending on how or where you were diagnosed, you're likely referred back to your GP. If not, let's just scrap that bit out. You know, like you're diagnosed, you get options of medication or not, and then you're sent on your way with a script or what have you, and then, I mean, that's kind of it.
Yeah.
There's no, you know, we recommend this, or you could do this, and that's not every experience, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely mine, and the majority of all my clients' experience is that then you kind of like, now what? And so, you know, one of the beautiful strengths of an ADHD kicked in, and that was all of a sudden I'm like, right, okay, well, hang on a minute, I'm going to go start, you know, looking for like what support, what can I do, like what kind of help can I get? And there wasn't what I was looking for and needed wasn't there, you know, like somebody that, like, lived experience is so important to me.
That's right.
And, you know, there wasn't really at the time anything or anyone doing anything, you know, like I was super capable, you know, all of these different things. And so I was looking for some kind of support to help me to understand myself or support me on my journey to that. And so that then led me to connecting in with Goldmind Academy, who I did my training through.
Wow. And look, I honestly think that you make a huge impact on people's lives. And I just want to ask you, in yourself, reflect. Do you take the pride with what you do today?
Very much. Yeah, so it's really interesting. At the moment, you could say I hold down 2 jobs at the moment.
Okay.
So I, work, so I'm an employee, but this is my passion. Like
right.
Coaching and consulting is 100% my passion. It lights the fire inside me. And so every call, no matter how I felt before, I get off it and I'm elevated, I'm on a high. Like it's just such a gift for me.
And it drives you forward. Right?
That's what lights the fire. It lights the fire inside me. It's my purpose. My purpose and my why has always been helping people.
That's right.
Always known it.
That's amazing.
But over the last 7 years, it's got way clearer now as to actual people as opposed to how I used to coin it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Okay.
That lead me to my next question, which is, what would you say to someone who feels broken simply because they experience the world differently from everyone around them?
Yeah, so my first message is that you're not broken because you see and experience the world differently. And I know that that can be easily said than really heard and accepted in various moments, depending on where people are at. But it really is the key with everything. Different can be hard, 100%. I'm not going to lie. Different can be really exhausting. But different is not less valuable.
That's right.
At all. What I needed to hear is that I didn't need to become someone else to be worthy. This is actually a part of my unlearning to this day, and freeing of myself.
But I also think, I don't know if you agree, I also think being different is more valuable.
100%.
Yeah. And
now more so than ever too.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so, like, thank you for sharing that. Like the other thing that I have, other question I have, you are of course ADHD coach and advocate, but also you are a mother, you are a grandmother, and how do you see yourself? Like, so let me ask that question again.
Please.
You are not only ADHD coach and advocate, but also mother and grandmother. How has becoming a parent and now a grandparent shaped the way you see yourself and the world around you?
This has been really nice to reflect on, actually. So parenthood changed how I see love, responsibility and growth. What I mean by that is that my children have taught me that people need to be seen for who they are, not who we expect them to be.
That's
so
right.
There's quite a difference there, right?
Yes.
They need to be listened to, trusted and respected. The same way that we expect them to us, we should do the same for them. And that we're actually in this together.
That's right.
We are learning together, and openness and communication and all of that is key. Becoming a grandmother has added a different layer. Like, I'll never forget, so you mentioned my mother-in-law earlier, and I'll never forget when we were speaking and she'd said to me, like, the love that you have for your grandchildren is just like on a whole other level. and you can't really describe it. Like, I get it. As soon as my first granddaughter was born, like as soon, I was just, I get it. Like it is on such a different level. But what it's really reminded me is that that life is generational.
What do you mean by that?
So what I mean is that what we are learning and where we might be healing can ripple forward. And so if I think about, and so what I was kind of alluding to are some things that potentially, were lacking in my experience as a young person, as a daughter, as a child growing up, right? But I'm now, taking a positive lens on that and taking the opportunity to be the shift, like the generational shift, to kind of break and shift that with my own children. And then that shifts another level again, right? With now also getting to have the privilege of grandchildren and getting to be in their life. And then also what my children have experienced and learnt in a different, so there's that ability to keep that rippling forward generationally. And so life is generational.
Yeah, that's right.
And, like each generation, for those of us that want to kind of take the, bull by the horns, if you like, and it's not easy, but that choose to, are going to see that positive shift
that's right.
generationally, as opposed to it's just how we are, right? We want to make things happen as opposed to sort of sit back and wonder what the hell happened or what have you. And so when I think about that, values that I really hope to pass on or that, I see in my sons already, but that I definitely hope to pass on is be kind. Know yourself. Like really know yourself.
That's so true.
Trust your instincts. Like that, your gut, it's very, I have spent a long time relearning that and unlearning, yes, brain, you're there to keep me safe, but actually, there's a big thing around safety that also can flip you into kind of, cutting everybody off. Ask for what you need. Like actually ask for what you need and don't settle for anything less. And that you don't have to be perfect to be deeply loved.
That is so true.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for sharing that.
It's okay.
It's
honestly, pretty special, as you can see and hear.
And that's honestly profound and so beautiful. And thank you again. So I have one more question for you. But before I go there, I have a part where I let my guests ask me a question. It's only optional. You don't have to ask me a question. But do you have a question for me?
Yeah, I do actually. You're like, oh, sure. Sorry, I didn't prepare you that the sun.
That's okay. What is the question for me?
What is one thing that your guests have taught you about courage that has stayed with you?
It's a good question, actually. Probably, I think one thing I clearly remember, and I still think about for that day today. One of my guests told me, courage is putting yourself out there, even though there's an uncertainty. Things can go south or things can go right for you, but courage is putting yourself out there no matter what, even when you don't know what is the outcome is going to be. And for that day, I think it could be a very simple thing, but I think to that day I still think about that small advice, and that makes more sense to me every time I think about it. And one other question that one of my guests asked me actually, which is not more about courage, but I still think that that's very, very deep and meaningful. At that time when I answered him, that it wasn't that. I didn't see it as that meaningful. I just answered right away. But after the interview, I was like, "Oh, this is a very deep question." He asked me, "What are you afraid of?" And and I right away I told him, right away I told him, oh, I'm afraid of not succeeding at life, not being successful at life. And then he was very slow, and he was like, well, Andrew, who's going to tell you're going to be successful or not?
I literally was sitting here being like,
yeah.
who's defining
Yeah,
success?
exactly. And I was like, oh my God, that is so true. That is so true. Then after the interview, I was talking to my team about it. They were like, oh my God, yeah. Like, I didn't think about that time, but it was so deep question.
So it really stuck with you.
Yeah, it is stuck with me, really. Like, no one's gonna be telling me what's successful like except me.
Yeah,
that is so true.
But society does tell us, right? Society does try, school,
that is so
all
true.
sorts, right? So it's beautiful.
That's beautiful, and I think the message is, at the end of the day, you define yourself. You define what is the successful looks like for you.
Yeah.
And I hope I gave you a fair answer for your question.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. No, yeah, I'm very, I love it.
Thank you for asking me that interesting question.
Yeah.
My last question is for you. I ask everyone, every guest of mine, what is one sentence you would say to someone who feels like giving up right now?
You do not need to become someone else to be worthy. You already are.
Wow, that's so meaningful.
And that will be meaningful to anybody, regardless of their situation.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you don't.
You don't.
But we need to hear that.
That's right.
Yeah.
You just have to be yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do not need to become someone else to be worthy. You already are.
Wow. Again, thank you so much for sharing that.
So welcome. Thank you.
Beautiful knowledge with us. I just can't be more grateful and more thankful for coming here.
It's reciprocated. Don't worry. I'm super grateful as well.
No, thank you. Honestly, thank you for making time and being here and
You're welcome.
Doing this and sharing all the wisdom you have today. And again, I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, I did. It's been fun. Great.
I thank you, and I had a great time with you. We're just having conversation. This is the first time I'm having conversation with you.
I know, yeah.
And I never felt like this was the first time.
No.
And I feel like I've known you for ages. But again, thank you so much. For the people who tuned in today, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope we were able to at least inspire one person, and that's more than enough. And I would leave you with the hope and promise that I will be back with another Courageous Heart. Until then, be safe, be courageous, and God bless you. Thank you so much, Bex.
You're so
This podcast is still growing, so every follow and share truly means a lot. Thank you for listening to Talk with a Courageous Heart.